The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback options may be shrinking, and because of that, you have to assess where they stand and what their current situation looks like and what a realistic outcome may possibly be. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they just wrapped up a week down at the Senior Bowl. Before that, they were at the Shrine Bowl. Now they head back to begin scouting pro days, look at NFL free agents, probably officially hire Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. Plenty of news, plenty of action, plenty of scouting left, and plenty of decisions to make. But unfortunately, they didn't get the news they were looking for. Going down to the Senior Bowl, you had some optimism. This is a place where it is easy for quarterbacks to shine, and sometimes that shine is good enough to do things like make you believe Malik Willis is going to be the greatest thing ever, or that Desmond Ridder might have the juice that you need to be a first or a second round pick. It could put guys like Kenny Pickett on the map without even knowing that Kenny Pickett is on the map. And it could also work the opposite way. It could shut guys down and make things a little bit more difficult, a little bit more unlikely for teams to look at you because everyone, and I mean everyone, has scouts down in Mobile. And the Pittsburgh Steelers spent a week down there. And by all accounts, everyone that I have spoken to, including our own boots on the ground, Nick Martin, has told me that the quarterbacks were less than impressive, that these guys struggled mightily, that names like Michael Penix and Bo Nix might have been the worst in the class down there, which is super concerning. And right now they're looking at both of them saying, I don't know if I was the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I would draft these guys. That's unfortunate, because both were names that were linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout the draft process. In mock drafts right up until the Senior Bowl, both were projected to be potential picks for the Steelers. Bo Nix in the first round, Michael Penix potentially in the second round, but there were options. Now it looks like both of those options are gone, that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to look at this and evaluate it and say, I don't know about this one. Both of them may be developmental pieces, and Bo Nix might be another Kenny Pickett, and I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to have another Kenny Pickett on their roster. I think they're looking to go a different direction. It could boost a name like J.J. McCarthy, but you never know if the Pittsburgh Steelers are even interested in a name like J.J. McCarthy. And then you start looking around the league everywhere else. Okay, Kirk Cousins, there hasn't been much news there. We're just kind of chilling, waiting for something to happen. But the Minnesota Vikings still appear to be the front runner for where he's going to land in 2024. Russell Wilson was projected by ESPN to stay in Denver. That is as shocking as it gets, but that is a huge elimination for a name that everybody, including Peter King himself, have said, hey, look it, maybe he comes to Pittsburgh. Maybe he is the guy that the Pittsburgh Steelers go out and get because he won't be that expensive after he gets cut. And you have to pay a veteran contract, obviously, but it's not going to be a $60 million a year veteran contract. If he stays in Denver, you don't know what's going to happen there, but it doesn't seem likely that the Pittsburgh Steelers even get an opportunity to make a move for that guy. So if you're eliminating first-round draft picks that could potentially be there at 20 in Bo Nix, if you are eliminating second-round draft picks and Michael Penix, who might be there at pick, whatever it is, 51 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're eliminating Kirk Cousins, if you're eliminating Russell Wilson, you're shooting for the stars with Justin Fields, and I think that is the best option available. I continue to think that is the best option available. If you ask me today, tomorrow, a week ago, or 3 months from now, who the Pittsburgh Steelers' top quarterback choice should be, I would say it's Justin Fields. Go get Justin Fields. There's plenty of untapped potential there. And if it doesn't work out, you have 1 year to figure that out and say, hey, look, this ain't our guy. We're going to move on. You could definitely still trade somebody for him. And I get it, you're going to have to sign him or franchise tag him or whatever the case may be. But you could figure that out when the time comes. And the NFL always seems to figure something like that out. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Justin Fields remains the top dog in my eyes. He would be the guy I'd be pushing so hard to go land Justin Fields. It would be crazy if I was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the first thing I would do is Arthur Smith, once I got in the building, is say, hey, who's my quarterback? Okay, could we try and get Justin Fields? Could we at least make an attempt to go get Justin Fields because I think I could turn that kid into whatever you want him to be and the Steelers quarterback to be. But if he's not a realistic option, which I think he could be, but as of right now, you don't know where the Chicago Bears are going to go with that first-round pick. And Caleb Williams reportedly said yesterday that he's not interested in going to Chicago, and that might push the scale a little bit just to say, all right, look, this kid ain't worth the drama. Justin Fields doesn't bring drama. Let's stick with Justin Fields and see what we have there. So let's eliminate Justin Fields. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now looking at where we were. Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. And I think that's okay to a degree, but I don't think that that's a superstar tandem at quarterback. I don't think either of those guys get you to where you ultimately want to be at the end of this. I think it's just another bridge to get you back into the playoffs and hopefully expand that playoff race a little bit, which I think is a step forward, a significant step forward. And I think Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph both have a little bit of juice left that hasn't been brought out in their game. And maybe, just maybe, they could bring out enough to make it a run. Maybe. But I don't think that you're really pushing the needle compared to some other guys. And it's crazy to think that this early the quarterback market is trimming. Now, you have to be realistic about situations like this. The Senior Bowl is early. The NFL Combine will skyrocket some of these guys back up. A pro day will do the same. I mean, you got to remember that down in Mobile, the year Kenny Pickett was there, nobody looked impressive. Nobody at all looked impressive except for Malik Willis. He was the guy. He was, oh man, the Pittsburgh Steelers are drafting Malik Willis. There's no question about it. Oh my gosh. Kenny Pickett didn't start climbing the way he climbed until his pro day, until everybody said, oh, look, this guy could throw 60-yard bombs with two gloves on. Who thought? Who knew that Kenny Pickett, with no pressure, could look like a stud? You'll get those guys. You'll get those Michael Penix. You'll get those Bo Nix who go out there at Oregon's pro day or Washington's pro day and just light up the show. I will toss a couple of names out there that have emerged as newcomers for the Pittsburgh Steelers that I think are very interesting, that I think are, okay, look it. If this is where we're going, at least they look good so far. That is Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina. I almost said Oklahoma, former Sooner, current South Carolina Gamecock. He looked, from what I've been told, the best down at the Senior Bowl. He's a mid-round pick. He's a second or third round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe he's an option. Maybe he's a guy that comes in just to develop. I think that's where they are. Is they might, if they are going to draft a quarterback, bring somebody in who isn't ready today but might be ready tomorrow. And that's an option. That's a valid option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Spencer Rattler is a guy that at times was considered the top quarterback in the draft class a couple of years ago. He had all the potential. He was supposed to be the next superstar of college football. Obviously, Caleb Williams kind of came in and made things a little tricky, but I could see him rejuvenating his career and ended up maybe like a Jalen Hurts, where you're sitting around going, this guy is a stud. I think he was overlooked a little bit, but he could lead a team. He's got all the intangibles and some of the weapons that you're looking for in an NFL quarterback. The other name is Jordan Travis out of Florida State, who until his injury was considered a Heisman finalist, was going to lead Florida State to the national championship and potentially win it. Those teams, or that team, looked so dangerous. And then he got hurt and everything went down the tube. And you got to question how quickly he can recover and if he's ever going to be the same. But he's been predicted to land to the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to ESPN, or ESPN predicted him to land to the Steelers. And that's a name to watch. He impressed down at the East-West Shrine Bowl, apparently. He met with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had good interviews with everybody. Impressive kid. Maybe he's an option for the Steelers. Maybe they're looking in that second, third round range, and maybe that's a bit more realistic as we sit here. And that's all going to change. This is a week-to-week thing, but leaving the Senior Bowl, that's step one. That's a big scouting moment for every team in the NFL, and it's a good time to reevaluate where you are and where your team stands. And where the Pittsburgh Steelers currently stand is the Senior Bowl was less than impressive when it came to quarterback, but more than impressive in other areas. Go get a center, go get a corner, go get a wide receiver, wait it out for a quarterback, and maybe the veterans aren't going to be there that you hope are there. Maybe the first-round guys aren't worth it that you at one point thought would be worth it. Wait it out, because there are two names, at least minimum, who were impressive late, and maybe that's the direction the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go.